Steve, thanks again for joining me. I would like to start by asking you to introduce yourself to my subscribers.
Um, my name is Steve Denison. I'm the president of the United States Powerlifting Association.
How did you start USPA?
This USPA was established in October 4th, 2010. I established it at that time because it was the right thing to do, because I was previously with the USPF, United States Powerlifting Federation, from 1984 till that time. And the USPF wasn't going anywhere. It was kind of dormant. It was just kind of stagnant, I should say. Didn't have the leadership there. They were just stuck on being single ply. They didn't see the trend with Raw coming on. And because Raw was coming on for like the last 10 years before that, slowly creeping up, and it was getting more popular. And then you had the Raw Unity meets in Florida, and it just pretty soon single ply took a back seat. And because of the rod coming onto the sport, it created more popularity, and it was easier to get into the sport at a less costly rate, because a bench shirt can cost 150, $250. The squat suit is another cost about the same. The deadlift suit, knee wraps, all that stuff we wore back in the day. And some people think Raw was how it started in the beginning back in the 60s. That's not true. It was gear. uh, it was gear back then, and they were wearing creative things like wrapping bed sheets around there, putting tennis balls behind their knees, anything to get an advantage. And then they obviously established some rules to help rein things in. And it's too bad that didn't have Raw back then, because we could be just like Olympic weightlifting. They allow knee sleeves, and they're just rolled a singlet. Nothing's ever changed much over there. And we kind of bastardized the sport over the years because we let, and I shouldn't, be careful what I say, because, I'm friends with a lot of gear companies, but they came on and they got a hold of uh, people in leadership, and, wanted to push gear. And that's how it was. I remember wearing an Inzer uh, blast shirt back then. You get maybe 20, 25 pounds out of it back in the mid 80s. And, and then next thing, about early 2000, I don't know, maybe it was 2004, somebody gave me a Rage X to wear in Venice Beach. And I never worn one before, because I was usually getting, 30, maybe 50 pounds out of a shirt, not much. And I couldn't even get 400 pounds to touch my chest with this Rage X. And I'm like, what's with this stuff? And then I had to put a little more weight on, and then it just blew up. It was like boom. And so that's the fascination with the gear for that during that time period, is like, wow, this is super cool. It's kind of like the slingshot stuff, the F8s and things that are going on right now in multiply. People were fascinated by it, but then that over the next 10 years, 5 to 10 years after that, it just kind of, you know, it fell off, because Raw came on and people wanted to really see what you could do with no gear, and have a good comparison, because some people are just good shirt benchers. Some people I used to get 110 pounds out of my shirt. I from my Raw bench to my single ply bench at 110 pounds was my carryover. Um, and I don't know what the squat was and deadlift was. The deadlift wasn't much carryover, but squat you would have a good carryover. But yeah, it was just that was how it was back then, and people just accepted it. But when we started the USPA, we brought in Raw. We had single ply and we had multiply. And then around 2013, we brought in Classic Raw, that's the word I named it.
That's the one with the wraps around the knees.
Yep, just the knee wraps, and everything else is Raw with a singlet. Everything was the only difference is just the knee wraps. So that was the thing we did, and that helped a lot. People are instrumental in establishing, helping the USPA get off the ground. Was my web guy at the time, Dennis Renault, who helped with the website and getting things going. Alan Arts with the rule book, Mike Tronsky, Of course, my wife helped, and some key people, Gordon Santee, um, some people have been around the sport a long time, and we rolled with it because it was. And then once we launched in October 2010, it just took off because I was well established in the USPF, uh, obviously for over 20 years, with 84 to 2010. And I had some big shows at that time. I had the Olympia was my event. It still is my event. I had the Los Angeles Fit Expo, was well established since I ran that in 2005. And and then I had the other expos, that I still have, the Anaheim Fit Expo, San Diego, which kind of dormant right now. But anyway, there was a lot of big shows back then, and I had all the major shows. So a lot of people, when I moved over, a lot of people said, "I'm going with Steve," and it decimated the USPF because I had phone calls from people out of New York and Florida and Hawaii and Missouri and everywhere. It's like, "Hey, I want to be a part of your organization." So, things were, you know, kind of rudimentary back then, and how we started. It was like pencil and pen, with on paper, and it's everything's sort of really automated now from back then.
I remember you driving a truck with a trailer up to Northern California with all the
Yeah,
equipment for a meet.
yeah,
Yeah. You don't
yeah,
do
yeah.
that anymore, do you?
I still drive a truck and trailer. I have a GMC Denali dually that I pull a 20-foot trailer. It's a different trailer now, 20-foot trailer. I still do that, but I don't go to Northern California anymore. I've turned that over to. I have like five. There's five meat directors up there. Mike Kufos in Napa, and Darren Monahan out of Old School Iron, Ferdinand out of Oakland or the Bay Area there, Keith Kanemoto. So there's good amount of meat directors up there, and then we got about five or six meat directors down here in Southern California too. So California is pretty flush. We're very blessed. We've always had a lot of meat directors.
Well, when I first started in USPA, I did my first meet in 2011. That was my first powerlifting meet, period. And when I was still working, and people would say, "Oh, I understand you're bodybuilding." And I said, "No, I'm powerlifting." They go, "Huh? What's that?" Now you talk to people, and everybody knows what powerlifting is. It's been an incredible growth in the sport. And I think you've been at the cutting edge of that. And I'd like to hear your perspective on that.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. People have become more aware of the sport and they understand what it is. There's a few people that still think it's the overhead lifts, the snatch, and clean and jerk. Like, no, no. Are you in the Olympics? No, no, that's not us. That's the Olympic weightlifting. There's some people that still they they don't fully understand, but they but once I explain it to them, it's like, oh, squat, bench, deadlift. Oh, okay, got it. Um, yeah, it has become more aware. More people become aware of the sport, and from young to old, um, it's just amazing the amount of people have embraced the sport of all ages. Even people starting late in life, in their 50s, sometimes 60s. I mean, starting late, like find the sport, like, wow, this is so much fun. I wish I'd have found this years ago. I hear that comment all the time, and I've been doing this for 41 years now.
And you're
My
only
first meet was
50, right?
I'm 63. Yeah, I turned 64 in December. Yeah, getting up there. And I still try to, compete like twice a year. Well, because of my sciatica, but I
Oh,
registered to compete in Argentina for IPL Worlds full power, but I'll probably end up doing bench only unless my sciatica, improves and I can start training. But I haven't really squatted and deadlifted since January.
oh boy.
Um, all I've been doing is benching, but I'm just been going to therapy and doing whatever I can to try to get over this, but it's really everybody seems to have had it. Oh yeah, I had sciatica. I got through it. It took a while, and I'm like, what's the secret to getting over it? So That's all I want to know.
Time.
Time. Yeah. Yeah. My wife's always telling me, "Are you doing your exercises or your stretches or mobility things?" And I go, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm doing it." So I mean, I feel all right today. So it just the pain I get it in the morning, and then it kind of subsides after I get my body warmed up, and but I'll get through it. I'm confident I'll get through it and be lifting the heavy squats and deadlifts again.
Good. Well, when the last meet before 2025 that I competed in was in 2018. And in those years, tested was a very small part. Now it looks like it's the major area where people compete in USPA. Is that an accurate observation?
That is, we didn't start when we started the organization in 2010. There was no tested; it was all non-tested. I just figured we would be the non-tested organization. USAPL would be the tested organization. Then I was told we should have tested, and so we started testing in 2016, and it slowly kind of took off, and then it got bigger and bigger and bigger, and pretty soon it just became the biggest. It's like um, our tested nationals is twice what the non-tested open nationals is. Um, it's just there's just more people. When I have a local contest, we'll have both tested and non-tested, and it'll be three-quarters tested lifters and maybe one flight of non-tested.
What do
So,
you attribute that to?
well, it's a lot of new lifters getting into the sport, and then when they first come in, like, well, I don't take anything, so I should be tested, and so they like, oh, I got a place to go. I don't want to be lifting with people on gear, so this is where I belong. And the ones that are on the non-tested side are typically some master lifters or on hormone replacement therapy, or people that choose to be on performance enhancing uh, drugs or whatever. But that's the nice thing about it. It's they have a choice, and there's no reason to test positive when you have a choice. Okay, you don't have to cheat, but we still find people. We still pop them. Some of it's just because of ignorance, because they'll find an over-the-counter product and they think, well, I got it from the local nutrition store, and they end up testing positive for it. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but you got to be careful what you put in your body, because we're going to a full WADA prohibited list, and right now we have the WADA. You've heard of that? World Anti-Drug Association. They're the ones that run all the Olympics, the drug testing for Olympics and all sports is under WADA. And then underneath that, we have USADA, which is United States Anti-Drug Association. And it's all based, WADA's based out of Canada, but USADA is based out of Colorado Springs. So, but it's all third-party testing. Our drug testing is done through a lab, Abbott Laboratories. A lot of organizations use the same lab, um, and so they do our testing. But the thing is, our referees conduct the testing, and that's what WADA doesn't.
Right.
And that's
I
what
got
WADA
tested
doesn't.
at the last meet.
Yeah, but WADA doesn't allow that. They have to have a third party official. It's not official that come in and do
Oh,
the testing, because they want to take the bias away. They feel that, oh, you might be selecting people or not selecting people you should be selecting, and so they feel that's the best way to go. Well, our people that we test are selected by the computer system.
right,
The scoring program at the end of the meet, we go to drug testing, give me the mandatory results, mandatory list of people that need to be tested. Boom, it spits out the highest dots, and it spits out some randoms as well.
right.
So we don't hand select, like go down the list and try to figure out, I want to test this person or this person, or that's my friend, I don't want to test him. And that could happen in other organizations. But anyway, so we feel it's very fair, but that's us. I mean, we feel it's worked out well. The problem with using WADA is it can be very expensive. So
Uh-huh.
that's why in Powerlifting America and the IPF, they don't even test at the local level in Powerlifting America. They don't
Uh-huh.
even test, I think, until they get to the nationals or the worlds. So people could be on whatever they want to be on, but they're never going to get tested unless you do some amount of meat testing or whatever. But I just think it's silly. But anyway, that's how they like to conduct it. We feel we're doing the right thing. We're catching people still, and it's been working for us. So we're
Well,
we're
well, I
we're,
got
we're doing.
tested at the meet in Napa, and I was told that I was a lucky one because I was in the top 10%.
Oh, okay. You could have been a random. Usually masters are randoms,
Uh-huh.
but he because you don't have a high enough dots unless he looked at the McCullough score age formula. He was probably going off of that, but the system selects your name.
I got
And
selected.
okay,
I
could
was
have been.
fine with it.
Yeah, that's cool. I've
Yeah,
had we had a IPL meet of the Americas in Mexico City in June, and we had a portion of that meet was tested. These lifters were so grateful to be tested. They were posting on social media their drug test results. They put them
great.
up. They're like, "Wow, I got tested. This is great." I mean, they were just so proud they got tested. I'm like, "Yeah." The problem is, you know, Europe is so hard to find testing. I can't even do testing in Germany because the the German government only lets two organizations drug test. They're just weird about that. And
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to set up drug testing in Greece, and so I got to set them an account through our Abbott Labs and try to get kits over to there. And so trying to work on that. But yeah, it's just weird in Europe. We're just so blessed. We're beyond blessed to live in America and to be able to do the things we do and lift in the venues
Right.
we lift at. There is
Right.
no world championship or events that is as good as what we do. I mean, if you were at our nationals, tested nationals, or the one in Pittsburgh, in the venues we have, they can't duplicate that in Europe.
Well, I
They can't even.
actually watched the live feed from Las Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, video screens, video screens. It was the best nationals we've ever had. It was just a rock show. We just knocked it out of the park because I got the right people on the bus to help us. The people that know how to really zhuzh it up, so to speak. And then our social media team, our marketing team just knocked it out of the park, just putting content out and content and all that stuff really makes an organization blossom and showcases what we can do. And we just show.
Well, it was really exciting watching the nationals. I got that's why I decided I needed to interview you.
I was amazed. I was amazed by the production. I had no idea it was going to be that good, and it just blew me away. I was like, "Holy moly! I got the right people here." And I'm trying to get some of those same folks at the Olympia and some of all of our bigger meets. So yeah, it's just we're just very blessed to have the people here around our area, wherever in the United States. We have good people that can help us put on great events.
I remember when I first started, there were only a couple of states that had USPA meets. Now I look at the upcoming meets, they're all over the country.
We've been in almost every state over a period of time. Some states we don't have as much. We've had some fall off um, in North and South Dakota, Nebraska, but some of that is coming back. We
The
really
one
hit.
area that I haven't found a meet is New York City.
Yeah, they'll be in Jersey, Eatontown, New Jersey. They'll be out. There has been stuff up in Westchester, up north of New York City. In fact, I was out there in 2016. I flew out there and went, to an event up there. I forget the name of the city. It was about 45 minutes north of New York City. I think it was Westchester, whatever, up in that area. And that's where I found that the scoring system, where the lights, the judging lights were automated, with remotes. And the guy had him there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to get these because all my judging lights were with cords and they were corded. And so we got rid of all those and we went to cordless, remotes. and up on a flat screen TV. And I was like, that was revolutionized. Now more software is coming to being. We're trying to revolutionize and change our scoring program from Iron Comp, which is what we call it now, into a different scoring system that we're going to, a proprietary system. So there's a lot of cool stuff is happening, to help us become more efficient, a better organization, to make sure the lifters have a great experience. Because to me, it's all about the lifter experience. Just putting a platform down and putting the weights out and slap a banner up. That's the old days. The new today, you really got to gear things up to your customer, and all the lifters are our customer. We want them to come away like, wow, that was a fun show. I had a great time. I hit some PRs. I broke some records. I can't wait to get to my next contest. I've loved this sport, and they get bit by the iron bug, like I was many years ago, and I'm like, yeah, it's a good disease to have. There's no cure.
I have been so impressed at how the organization has grown. I did 2 meets this year. Realize I'm 79 now.
Wow, that's
Okay.
great.
And I've
You're
had
like
a
in
heart
Rudy Mad
attack.
Libs. Yeah.
I've, yeah. Realize I'm 79 now. I've had a heart attack. I had both knees replaced. I had major shoulder surgery 18 months ago, and I still competed twice this year. Set two
Nice.
state records in February and again in this month, and I'm into it.
You know what that means?
No,
That means you're resilient.
I'm stubborn.
Yeah, you're that too. Maybe you're stubborn. You're like, I'm not quitting. I love this too much. I'm
Yeah,
going to come back just like me. I'm going to beat this sciatica and I'll be back.
exactly.
I just enjoy being around the sport.
Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
terrific sport, a terrific organization. The meets in the last that I've done, these two, were great. You've really brought it a long way. So what do you see for the next 5 years?
I see the growth of the USPA. Um, I see it doubling over the next five
Wow.
years. I
Wow.
see our organization worldwide uh, going beyond. We're already in, I don't know, 35, 40 countries.
Wow.
Um, so, we have worlds in Argentina, we open worlds, and we have tested worlds in England. We just had the European Championships in Netherlands this year.
Right.
Next year, it's going to Italy, and I propose to have the worlds in Italy, may possibly in 27 or 28. I've been to Argentina. I'm sorry, Australia in 2022. I've been to Russia twice. Um, Ireland back in 2019. I went to Germany and Ireland. It was Germany for IPL Worlds and IPL Tester Worlds in Ireland in 2019. They were like back to back, and that worked out. Um, yeah, it's just a lot of things, good things happening. South America is really blowing up. The Argentinians are doing a fantastic job. We have a meet director down there. I'm president of the Argentinian Powerlifting League, Mariela Ortolado. She's fantastic. She puts on a really very high productive show, an event, and it's up to our level. I mean, I watched what they're doing online, and I'm like, wow, you guys, they know what they're doing. They take care of the
Wow.
lifters. They want a high production, and they're watching us. We're watching them. So a lot of good things happening. And the cool thing is, next year we have our Ultra Nationals
I
in
signed up for
Anaheim,
it.
May 25th to the 30th, and 6 days long. It could be three, possibly four platforms. It's going to be both tested and non-tested, first time ever, and different score sheets, of course. But it's just going to be a rock show. We're going to have the screens. We're going to have the live stream. It's just going to be a phenomenal event, and I can't wait to have everybody there to experience it. We also have, the Bench Press Nationals that
Right.
Mike McGee is putting on in Phoenix, and he wanted to do something like that. And I was like, all right, no problem. So that's like March 21st.
Right.
There's the Masters Cup in Louisiana, March 7th. It's full power. It's masters only, 40 and up. Um, so those are all cool things. And our regionals are happening this fall in 5 places around the United States in the end of
Right.
October, beginning of November. And then all those regionals are going to be repositioned for the spring, February, March time frame for next year. They kind of they're going to be relocated from here on out in the spring because we're going to
Uh-huh.
create a season. And the season is going to be you got regionals in the spring, and then you got nationals, in the summer, usually June or July, and then you got our state meet is going to move from where I have now in February. It's going to move to the fall in September,
Uh-huh.
um, and every state's going to do the same thing. All their state meets are going to be in the fall because we're creating a season. All
Uh-huh.
right. So
Okay.
after nationals, the season starts. Your local events, but your state meet is one of your most important events in your state. That's going to be in the fall. Then it leads into regionals. It leads into nationals. Well, along with that, y'all also have the worlds are always going to be in the fall too. So um, that is
Interesting.
always going to be in the fall. But we're going to create a point system. Um, so there's a lot of stuff that our team is putting together, and I'm privy to most of it. I can't explain everything that's going on, but it's some cool stuff, and I'm really looking forward to next year. 2026 is going to be amazing.
Now, you said you were developing a point system. What is that?
Based on if you go to regionals, you go to a state meet, you go to nationals. It's better if I have one of my staff, Tyler, explain that. I don't know. I can't really get into detail how the point system works to create maybe the athlete of the year,
Aha.
um, that
Okay.
type of thing. That's kind of like where it's geared towards.
Well, what do you have to say to my subscribers as some sort of motivation or something to get them excited?
Well, stay consistent when you're in the gym. Um, Take care of yourself. Most importantly, especially when you're older, make sure you're taking care of your health. You're eating right. You're getting sleep. Um, I have to do the same thing. I've been doing this for 41 years. So, and this is the first time I've really been had a situation with my sciatica where I'm like, it's taking me down. I've trained through injuries. I got an impingement in my left shoulder, but I can still bench. I just can't do overhead presses very well. But I think the important message is stay consistent. You can take time off, but stay consistent. Have a training partner or a coach. That helps a lot.
Yeah.
I have not always had training partners. Sometimes I have, but I think I see in this day and age, a coach is really, really important, especially if you're new to the sport.
Yeah.
But even if you're not new to the sport, I'm a veteran powerlifter. I had our Team USA coach Kyle Young help me a couple different times, and I'm like, oh my gosh, why don't I have a coach all the time? And
Yeah.
that was my thinking. It was like, I need a coach. I know it costs money, but it's worth the investment to have that coach. If they're really good and they can help you break through barriers and break through sticking points and advise you to slow down and move forward or whatever, you need that encouragement. You need that coaching. And that's important is to make sure you stay on top of your game. If the sport is really important to you, you do whatever you can to stay in the sport, not retire. Don't I hear so many people like, well, I won all what I'm going to win, and I'm out. Well, not everybody's Ed Cohn and some of the big names back in the day. Well, they've check marked everything. They've done it all, and they don't need to show anything else more. Anything else. I've been to the World Championships. I've been to the Nationals. I took second back in '95 to Kirk Karowski at the USPF Nationals. That's the highest I ever did. But I thought, you know what? I'm still love this sport, and my numbers have gone down. And I'm still typically squatting low fives, deadlifting low fives, and benching low fours. And this is good for my age and my weight class. I'm still plugging away, and it doesn't hurt my ego. I just like, you know what? I look at people like you, guys like Rudy Cadlub, who's 75 years of age. He came back for double hip surgery and he's back in the gym. I just saw something on social media. And then you got people like Ellen Stein, Ellen 9 for 9, Ellen Stein. You know, you got these older people, and she's 71, 2, or whatever. And she just competed in Pittsburgh at nationals. I'm like, you know, if these people can do it, why can't I? Why don't quit? Just have fun.
Right.
Um, Not everybody's going to be winning world championships after world championships like Ed Cohen and Kurt Karowski and the guys back in the day. They've all retired. They're like, well, they've hit those peaks and they don't really have nothing else to prove. Well, I haven't, and I've been up there to some high levels, but I'm still just, even regardless, I'm still having fun.
Yep.
Um, I still, and the way I wanted to give back is I became an official back in 93. I became a state ref. 97, I became a national referee. And 2007, I became an international referee. Now I see people graduating from state to national within 2 years. And they go from national to international in 3 years or four if they get to the number. Because there's so many meets out there, you can promote much faster. Back in the day, you didn't have as many meets to go to,
Right.
so you could promote. Now, you know, to go from a state to national, it's 8 meets and 32 flights. In California, you could do that in 4 or 5 months. There's a
Wow.
meet almost every weekend out here, but we tell them you got to do 2 years,
Yeah.
and if
That
you
makes
end up doing
sense.
double that,
Yeah.
just pace yourself. We don't want you to, oh, I did my 8 meets and 32 flights. Can I promote? No, no, just slow down.
Take your
You'll get
time.
there.
Yeah.
Take your time. You need more platform experience. So I tell people if you can become a referee, you know, to get back to the sport, but I still also compete, that'll help you because if you understand the rules and you're a lifter, you're like, wow, I see things from a different
Right.
perspective now on the referee side. And as a lifter, I see that. I see it from the referee perspective, the lifter perspective, and the meet director perspective.
Right.
I see it all. So there's a lot of people coming into the sport, and a lot of people do their thing, and they're out of the sport, and then they come back. Some people I've seen have gone 15 years, and then they come back because maybe
Wow.
they went to school and were working on their degree. They got married, they had kids, and all of a sudden they remember back in the day how much fun they had. And they're like, I'm going to go powerlifting again. I'm going to get back out there. And I've seen people, all of a sudden they show up again, like, wow, nice to see you back, you
Yeah.
know, and they're back on the platform after taking a hiatus, you know, and it's so cool to see that. And you don't see that very often. But I've seen people come and go. And because I go to open powerlifting and I'll look on somebody's background and I'll see like, oh yeah, he hasn't done a meet in a while. And all of a sudden it's 5 years later and he's doing a meet, you know, he's like back into it
Yeah.
because maybe there was an injury, a family, a school, whatever it is, and they always come back. So
As
because
Louis
if
Simmons says, there's lifting and there's life, and sometimes life comes first.
yeah, exactly. Sometimes life
Yeah.
comes first. You got to take care of life issues.
Yeah, that's
But
right.
yeah, and behind me is our old logo, and you'll see on your screen on the bottom right is the new logo. So I got to get a new banner.
Well, listen, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Good talking to you. Okay, Mike. Thanks so much.